الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. Inshallah ta'ala, we start our lesson today. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after describing how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created men and what was the role and the expectation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explained the status of people of book, Bani Israel, and primarily Jewish people, because that's where the life of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam continued. So Ibrahim alayhi salam, as you recall, had two sons, Ishaq alayhi salam and Ismail alayhi salam. Ishaq alayhi salam had a son called Yaqub alayhi salam. This Yaqub alayhi salam, his title is Israel. Israel. Isra means slave, El means Lord, Allah. Allah in Hebrew. So Israel is Abdullah, counterpart of Hebrew language. Israel. This Israel has children, many children. So Bani, Banu Israel or Bani Israel. So children of Israel, so Israelites. These children of Israelites or children of Israel or Israelites, there are 12 of them. So you know, Yaqub alayhi salam had 12 sons. They then were settled in Egypt. And the reason for that was the drought that they had, the famine that they had. But they could not stay for many years because there was no food, nothing in Canaan, in that area where they used to live, close to Palestine. So Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam was already sold in that area. You know the story. We'll cover some other time when we come to that. Surah Yusuf. And so Yusuf alayhi salam was there as the treasurer of the king of Egypt, and the drought happened, so people would come to Egypt. Why? Because Yusuf alayhi salam, with his wisdom, made sure that there was enough provision despite having all the trial of drought. And that was based on the dream that the king had at that time. So Yusuf alayhi salam interpreted it and gave a plan for the next 14 years, but actually longer. And that's how the Egyptians were the only people, under the supervision of Yusuf alayhi salam in his leadership, managed to cater for the drought. They were so much in abundance that they could actually sell it to other parts of the world. So people would come from left, right, and center. So Yaqub alayhi salam would send his sons to go and get some food from there. And this is when Yusuf alayhi salam then took Benjamin, the younger brother. So Yusuf alayhi salam and Benjamin, Binyamin, they were the brothers as well from their mother side. So same mother. The other 10 brothers, they were having same father but different mothers. So Benjamin, Binyamin, so Yusuf alayhi salam held it behind through a way he did it. But anyway, we'll leave that because that's not part of our discussion. So he held him behind, he stayed with them. And then Yaqub alayhi salam had no choice because he now lost 3 of his sons. First Yusuf alayhi salam, now Benjamin. And for Benjamin being there, because when Yaqub alayhi salam sent and allowed the brothers to take Benjamin with them, and the reason was that Yusuf alayhi salam asked for it. Bring your younger son, younger brother as well, if you have anyone, and then they will get more food. So the oldest one, he had a pact, he had a deal that I would bring Benjamin definitely back. I'm not going to lose him as we lost Yusuf the last time, 40 or 30 years back. So that was his promise. So he said that I would not come back until we have Benjamin with me. So he stayed behind for that reason. So now Yaqub alayhi salam actually lost 3 sons. And that's when they came the third time. Yusuf alayhi salam disclosed. The letter came to Yaqub alayhi salam that Yusuf is there. Please, everyone to come and settle in Egypt. That is how the Israelites were settled in Egypt. Obviously, they were based in Palestine, Jerusalem area, Canaan, and that was the area. So they stayed there during the time of Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam. They had very good time, very, very nice days. But as Yusuf alayhi salam became old and then he frail and then he left this world, the local people, the Copts, the Egyptians, they started going back on their track of enslaving the foreigners. They started saying, but you are foreigners, this is our land, who are you? Why did you come? And then slowly and slowly, they enslaved them. And the kings, they started just abusing them, oppressing them. So for 450 years, about that much, they were subjected to all the persecution. They were enslaved. They would do all the labor work. These are the children of Yaqub alayhi salam. So 12 tribes, 12 sons, all of them had over the next 400 years, tribes, big tribes. So these are the 12 tribes of Bani Israel. And that is when, after 404, about that much, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent this prophet called Musa alayhi salam, same lineage. And as Musa alayhi salam was born, this was the time when the king had a dream, the Pharaoh had a dream that there would be someone from Bani Israel who would then raise up and would topple over your government. He's going to kill you. So he had, like, a dream about that, and also the magicians, soothsayers, the fortune tellers, the palmists or whatever, they had astrologers, they all started telling him this is how it would work. And these people, when they do not believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then they have a lot more superstitious belief. But he believed that, and then he started an expedition, which was to kill every boy who's going to born this year from now onwards. This is how he was trying to get rid of that man who would topple over his government, which is Musa alayhi salam. This is so crazy. So on one hand, you believe that. If you believe, you just believe it's going to happen. You can't change it. If you truly believe in that dream, which you should, because that's your belief system, you can't undo it. So when you know that this is your belief, this would happen, this is what they're telling you, you're trying to go against it by killing all the boys. They kill all the boys born, newborn boys. They would leave the girls behind. Now, in olden days, it was easy to understand how problematic this is. Leaving girls behind mean what? That you're going to take all those girls, no one to be there to protect them, and they'll be your concubine, they would be your slave. So you're actually causing more trouble, and the rest of the children would be your family. So in a way, you are killing the whole generation. In modern time, people would perhaps not mind. That's the perverted understanding of people. We lost all our ghaira or our chivalry or manhood or whatever, our respect and honor. But traditionally, even among non-Muslims, it was a big thing. That is why men would not come out to the war if they know that they cannot protect their women folks. They were there to look after them. Now we don't take any responsibility at all. Anyway, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after initially giving the 7 ayat, which are in a nice way inviting them towards the right path again. Do this, take heed on the book, the message, read up stuff, don't mix and match, and act upon what you are inviting others to, and also take assistance with prayer and with patience. So do prayers and everything else. So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after doing that, started reminding them of the favors that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed them with. So we next about 10 ruku, we call it 10 portions that all be talking about many of the blessings and favors that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed this tribe of Bani Israel. So 12 tribes, all of them were favored by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah is now going to move on to all those in the next many pages. Okay, so that's the background. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then starts by saying this. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا بني إسرائيل اذكروا اذكروا نعمتي التي أنعمت عليكم So, Ya Bani, O children. Ya, O children, Bani. Bani, it was Israel. Israel, as I said, the slave of Allah, Abdullah in Hebrew means Israel. Israel. The children of Israel, we say Yaqub alayhi salam. O children of Yaqub alayhi salam. Udhkuru, recall, remember, realize. And this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying to the people of Medina, Jewish people, Jewish tribes, and Christian by extension, because they follow the same teaching and same lineage. So remember, ni'mati, my favors, allati, those that an'amtu, I bestowed or showered or favored, alaykum, alaykum, upon you. The favors that I've given you. Remember those favors. So the question is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us favors. Is it okay for us to do the same? Not at all. We are not supposed to do that. It is not permissible for created beings, because whatever favor you do to someone, it is actually not done by you. It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's tawfiq and Allah's favor actually upon you to do it in order for you to reap more benefits by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you have done a deal with Allah. So you help someone out, Allah would help you with that. It's Allah's way of working. So whatever happens, happens with the tawfiq of Allah, number one. Second, you're not doing any favor from your own accord. Whatever you've done, it is actually from the given by someone else. As they say in Punjabi, something like that. They say, whatever you've given to someone, already you're giving in from something which is already been gifted to you. Something like that. There you go. Okay, so you haven't done any favor by helping someone. You have actually done a favor towards yourself, because Allah will return it with a bigger favor in this world and in the life hereafter. So that is what Allah said in Quran. الذين ينفقون أموالهم في سبيل الله ثم لا يتبعون ما أنفقوا منا ولا أذى لهم أجرهم عند ربهم ولا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. This is the positive side. Those who spend in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they in fact they do the favors to others, and they do not then remind, I've done this to you. They do not afflict any pain or torture with words. See, I've been helping you with my charity, and you are talking me back, and you're just showing me your true colors. You're just not listening to me, you're not supporting me. So we want it to be reciprocated. Otherwise, we just make them feel ashamed or embarrassed about that. Allah said, قول معروف ومغفرة خير من صدقة يتبعها أذى والله غني حليم. Saying a good word and do sadaqah and forgiving people is better than giving a charity which is followed with this taunting. I've done favor to you. See, remember, I've been feeding you my monthly, support to you. Otherwise, you'd be on the street. Words to that effect that we say to our folks in the family, sometimes extended family, sometimes poor neighborhood. All haram. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't like that. Allah said, don't do it. You're just making your action batil. Allah said, you've done the butlan of your action. Your action is null and void if you follow it with this showing that I have done something, because you haven't. Allah can remind us of our favor, the favor that He has given to us, because He's the only one who does it. For us, it's a sign of arrogance. It only befits Allah. وَأَنِّي فَضَّلْتُكُمْ عَلَى الْعَالَمِينَ. And only that I preferred you ala over alameen, universe, all of the people, the worlds. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given children of Israel alayhi salam that much favor. Now this preference was for the people and the world around at that time. Not till the end of time, not up till now. It was for that time. It was not for previous generation and not for the subsequent generation. It was contemporary. Whatever world was there at that point. Why? Because we know this from this ayah of Quran. Kuntum khayra ummatin. You are the best of nations. This is the superlative degree Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used for the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So obviously you have superseded everyone else. So the fadila of Bani Israel was for the time. So they were the best creation. There were many others, follower of many other religions. They did not hold any value in comparison to the Israelites. Obviously, they were the children of prophets, mashallah. And there's a very important point. So they were chosen. And they were chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what that did to them, a lot of them, they start feeling arrogant about it. And they would say, we are the chosen. We nahnu abna'ullahi wa ahibba'u. And we cover that in Quran. Comes in Quran. They say, we are the children of Allah subhanahu. We are very special friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is why nothing is going to hurt us. We can do whatever. We're not going to get into trouble ever because Allah favored us. Allah said it in their books, and Allah definitely said it. But that only is valid provided you have a right attitude for it. Number two, you continue to be the recipient of that favor. It is not absolute in any sense. Same is the message for us. Obviously, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to people of book primarily. Indirectly, it is all addressing us. All you people. See, there was nation before you, Israelites, Bani Israel. They were favored. So are you now. But your action has to be in keeping with that favor. If you behave wrongly, you'll be doomed as they were. ضُرِبَتْ عَلَيْهِمُ الذِّلَّةُ وَالْمَسْكَنَةُ will come in the next few weeks. How Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then literally censured them. They were punished. They were taken out of favor. Why? Because they misbehaved. They did not follow it. The favor was not favor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, was not followed up with the right behavior, right attitude, right mindset, right spiritual connection. When you are given favor, you start feeling big about it. You do not deserve to have that favor. It's like being arrogant for, as they say, the balloons become like big. They feel big. You never got anything. Don't be big-chested like that. Don't become haughty or arrogant. Because the more you get, the more you should be humbling down. Man tawada'a lillahi rafa'ahu Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, whoever shows humility and humbleness, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will elevate them. This is why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was the most humble person out there. He would never even sit in a position where people could see sitting on a high pedestal. Never ever. He would do like that. Unless there's a need for it. He would not make himself look different to people. Very simple person. He would never take revenge for himself. To the point, if you were at his house and then you just stay there without, taking any permit, he would carry on till you carry on. He would not ask you to leave the house. And this happened, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had to intervene. This, my Prophet, like in a day, is working for a whole day. Now it's night time. And this was his walima. The Sahaba all gathered, they started chat and whatnot, and food and everything. And after that, they started talking to each other. Quite natural. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had to leave the house to visit his wives. Then he came back, they were still talking to each other. And then he went again and then come back. And finally they realized it was too late. Oh, mashallah, this is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's walima. He need to go to his house. And they're sitting indoors. Finally he left. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed in the Quran, don't do that. When you've eaten, get out. You need to leave the house. Leave my Prophet in peace a little bit. Let him have some time for his personal and family matters to be attended. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is so humble. He would walk and a small girl or young boy would come and drag him while talking to Abu Bakr and Umar and the likes. They would come, Ya Rasulullah, I need to show you something. They'll just take him and he would just go that way. What is that? I've got this bird. I want to show you that. I've got this thing. And anyone could do that. People would come straight direct to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's in the majlis. Sahaba are like, what is he doing? And the people could just actually pull his garb, pull his scarf or his shawl to the point that he had mark on his neck, through the friction, through the rubbing, through the pulling. And they was like, oh Muhammad, I want some money. I want something. And this is how it was. There was a man who started, a Bedouin, continued to keep asking, keep coming close to him, and he was just going back. He was just by the walls. Oh, okay, what do you want? I want some money. Give me something. Okay. The Sahaba, because all the trained Sahaba, they wanted to sort him out. Ya Rasulullah. But the adab they knew, the adab is such that when he is there, he would tell us what to do. He would say, these are my camels. If you go, they will run away. I can bring them back. Let me do. To the point of men, the Bedouin who was urinating in the masjid, the Rasulullah didn't allow Sahaba to go and chase him out. That's the humility. That's the human character Rasulullah has. That's the beauty of it. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala praised Rasulullah with his abd. Subhanalladhi asra bi abdi. Whenever there's a biggest ever thing happened to Rasulullah in his lifetime, Allah will call it and qualify it as the abd. We've taken our abd to the heavens, to was it the Aqsa? Whenever, so you find that in Quran, abd. Being abd is the highest station. Being humble and lowly in your mind, you're feeling yourself that I'm worthless. That is the sought after goal. And we know how Iblis was completely misguided against that. So we need to have that. So, but Israel, they lost that. They didn't understand what humility means. And they lost it, they became arrogant. And this is the arrogance that they would go out of their way to even kill the prophets they would not think befitting the status. But they killed prophets. وَيَقْتُلُونَ الْأَنْبِيَاءَ. They killed prophets. Imagine what it would take to go after a prophet and marry them. وَاتَّقُوا يَوْمًا لَا تَجْزِي نَفْسٌ عَنْ نَفْسٍ شَيْئًا. So وَاتَّقُوا and ittaqu, fear, save yourself. Yawman, from the day, fear the day. La, no, tajzi, would not benefit something. Tajzi means someone that could be a compensation for you, that could be used for your problem, like a substitute for you, someone that would suffice you, that would just bail you out. There would be nothing that will bail you out. A soul cannot be bailed out on that day by someone else, even for little things. That is very, very important message from Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is categorically reminding them that there's no concept of original sin. Adam alayhi salam, he ate from that, and now everyone has to pay the price for that. As Christianity and the people in Christian faith, they believe, some of them, they believe that the father had to send his son to be crucified in order to purge it all out, get it all out. Because the original sin of man was needed to be compensated for. There's no such thing. No one takes blame from someone else. If you have done something wrong, your children are not to be blamed for that. And that makes it very clear in our teaching. If you do not embarrass someone by saying, your father did that, you don't do that. This is called aar. You do not cause aar to people, shaming them. Can't do that. It's haram in Islam to shame someone. Someone else's father did something, you can't do that. Even if they have done it and then it's lost and they've just repented, and you do the aar to them, they repented, they've moved on. You keep reminding, oh, you did that then the other day. Remember, 2 years ago you were like this. Now you're trying to be very pious. I know what you've done before. Not to be reminded of the bad past. It's different. That's for the individual. But no one would take the burden of someone else. Likewise, no one would help someone out on the day of judgment. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, that no one would support the least, even if they're their family members on the day of judgment. You have to come with your own good deeds, with your own, actions that would deliver you on the day of judgment from the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَا يُقْبَلُ مِنْهَا شَفَاعَةٌ. And not accepted, would not be accepted from any soul, shafa'a, even the shafa'a. Shafa'a is life fight. Shafa'a is intercession. You won't be able to intercede on behalf of. So, except, obviously, this ayat would not give the exception. But we know there's exception already coming in the surah. Where is it coming? Where is it the exception coming? Ayatul Kursi. Yeah, you all read Ayatul Kursi. Yeah. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه. The shafa'a would come, but not independently, not in absolute term. This shafa'a, this intercession will be only for those who Allah will, by those who Allah will, for that much that Allah wills. Not that I can ask for anything, not at all. This is all in Allah's hand. Shafa'a that will go with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's permission. Man alladhi, who is there to intercede, yashfa'u indahu, in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, illa bi'idhni, except through his permission. So obviously Allah will allow pious people to intercede on behalf of sinful Muslims. Likewise, the scholars, the imams, the prophets, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam intercede, shafa'at al-kubra, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself then in the hadith said that I will do the intercession. Everyone has done the intercession, let me do my intercession. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would put his blessed hand in hellfire to take everyone out 3 times. And the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, how much do you think the nation would come out in the 2 hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? 3 times we get. There will be no one left in hellfire, inshallah, with that, as Allah said, as the hadith said about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So shafa'a would be, but with Allah's permission only. No one would have any iota of independent shafa'a to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Keep that as aqidah. This is aqidah. Obviously, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would allow whomsoever He would allow. Hafiz would do, and Hafiz who are practicing Hafiz. They memorize their Quran. They can take about 10 people from their family, from their friends who are destined for hellfire. Like, they've done bad deed enough to be in hellfire. This Hafiz would take those people out of hellfire. That's why you make good relationship with Hafiz. Give them gifts. You can give them gifts even if they're old. Don't need to be waste. Means that have a nice relationship. Especially in your family. If you have someone in your family, look after them. If you go half in the family, look after them. So that they do not forget you. Because if there are only 10 individuals to take, who knows? If I'm there, I would like to be taken out by someone. They will say, oh yeah. If they only know me as someone who keeps twisting their ears, they're not going to take me out. Let it be there. So be nice to your family members. If they're half especially. وَلَا يُؤْخَذُ مِنْهَا عَدْلٌ وَلَا هُمْ يُنصَرُونَ. And لَا يُؤْخَذُ would not be taken. Minha from it, from the soul. Adl. Adl here does not mean the insaf thing, is actually replacement, the compensation in place of. So no one would take your punishment, you can have it. No one would do that. No one can compensate for someone else. It has to be that individual. وَلَا هُمْ يُنصَرُونَ, and they would not be helped. They would be, okay, your punishment, I can't take it all, but can I just minimize it by supporting you a little bit? You feel a little bit more burnt, I could just put my hand on your face, like try to support you. Can I just take you in my shelter in Jannah? Can I send something from Jannah? A hose pipe with some water to help you out? Water gun, maybe? Nothing. You can't send a parcel for food or whatever. All this discussion would happen. In Quran explained that in Surah Al-A'raf, how they would say, please give us some food, what you're eating, some of the drink that you have. Inna Allah harramahuma. Both of them are made haram for you. Those who have taken their religion as plaything. الَّذِينَ اتَّخَذُوا دِينَهُمْ لَهْوًا وَلَعِبًا وَغَرَّتْهُمُ الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا. They were completely beguiled and deceived by the beauty of the world, temporary beauty. وَإِذْ أَنْجَيْنَاكُمْ مِنْ آلِ فِرْعَوْنَ. And you remember what did I say about is? Whenever you have is, most of the time, there is a hidden implied meaning, which is remember, recall the days. Now, obviously, this is not talking to the people talking to the people directly, but when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, recall, meaning that you heard this story from your forefathers. It didn't happen to you. None of that happened to the Jewish people of Medina, people of Book of Medina, but to their ancestors. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directly addressed them, means that your forefather. The favor that we're showing and explaining to you happened to your forefathers, and you know it all by heart through the stories that have been narrated to you generation after generation. You've read that in your book, your own books mentioned those. So recall those. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is addressing them like this. So, and recall, Anjayna, when we delivered you, saved you, protected you, kum, you, min from Ali Fir'aun, from the children of Fir'aun, means the family of Fir'aun, means Fir'auni, the Pharaoh and his team, the elite group. يَسُومُونَكُمْ سُوءَ الْعَذَابِ. So Pharaoh or Fir'aun is a title given to the king of Egypt. So at one time there will be one Pharaoh, but there will be one after each other. The one who passed away was different. The one who was at the time of Yusuf al-Islam was different. There's one after the other. That is why in their tradition, they would put a title like Pharaoh to for even Yusuf al-Islam. You know, they didn't say it that way, but that's what they mean, because he was the king in Egypt ultimately. So it's the title that goes on. It's like, the Marida, the Namrud is the title for people of Iraq. Likewise, the people who are from Iran, their title is Kisra. The people from, Rome, the title was Caesar or Caesar. So that's how it goes. Okay, so the titles are for the people over there. Like we say Khalifa or Amir al-Mu'minin. They have those titles. So Pharaoh is a title for them. Yasumunakum, they afflicted. Kum, you, su al-adab, the worst of the pain, quite bad pain. What was that? Then Allah describes, yuzabbihuna abna'akum wa yastahyuna nisa'akum. It means to do the slaughtering. Zabah. So they used to slaughter abna'a, your children. Ibn, abna, abna'akum. Jama mukassar. Baneen as well, but abna is plural mukassar, broken plural. So your children, sons, abna, your sons. They will slaughter your sons. And yastahyuna, or while. You can translate as while as well. While yastahyuna, they keep alive. Nisa'a, women, you women. Mothers, sisters, daughters, girls, they were all kept like this. So they continue to be enslaved. And they're killing all the men. And the reason, as I mentioned, was a dream he had, and then there was some soothsayers saying the same thing that we toppled over. وَفِي ذَلِكُمْ بَلَاءٌ مِّن رَّبِّكُمْ عَظِيمٌ. وَفِي ذَلِكُمْ وَفِي, and it, ذَلِكُمْ, and in it, and in it, fi, in, ذَلِكُمْ, it. So those who know some grammar, kum, ذَلِكُمْ, you don't translate that ذَلِكُمْ. ذَلِكَ means mishara, that. And kum is only referring to who your addressee is. If addressee is one person, ذَلِكَ. If addressee is many people, ذَلِكُمْ. If it is a woman, ذَلِكُنَّ, like as in plural woman. Otherwise, this is how it goes. That kum hints to the number of addressees or the type of addressees. Okay, so that's why you don't translate it. وَفِي ذَلِكُمْ, and in it, bala'un. Bala means a trial. We say that bala, Urdu mein bhi bala bolte hain. Many languages mein bala. Gujarati mein bolte bala. Bala means trial. It could be good, could be bad. Min rabbikum azim, from your Lord. Azim, grammar would help here. It could be azimun, then it is the sifa of bala, big trial. If it is azimin, then it is your great Lord. So it fits bala'un min rabbikum azimun. The mawsuf sifa have same i'rab, same dimension. So the trial was obviously that they're killing, torturing, enslaving. The favor was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then delivered you. Allah. So it could be both ways. وَإِذْ فَرَقْنَا بِكُمُ الْبَحْرَ فَأَنْجَيْنَاكُمْ. All these favors Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing them as a brief, would go in detail. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would go in detail in many parts of Quran subsequently. That's why I'm not going to go into detail of where or how it happened and what was the exact location. Cover that because where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned the detail, we go in detail. And remember, is faraqana. Farq. This word is very important word. We use in our languages as well. It means to part, separate. That is why firqa, tafarruq. Heard those words? The small faction, the sects, all to do with separation. You keep separated by having some ideas which are baseless. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only divided us into Muslim and non-Muslim. All the rest are there, they're important as well, but that should not make us hate each other for that. So faraq. That's why the Sayyidina Umar his title was Faruq. And Faruq A'zam. Faruq here means the one that could distinguish, a criterion that would distinguish from right to wrong. He would just clarify it. When he says something is this or that, he would just divide it. Farq. He would do the farq. That is why your hairline, I haven't got any with the hairline, that's called farq as well. Because it parts your hair onto two sides. So, and remember, when faraqna, we parted, we go with you or for you, al-bahr, the sea. So, and thereby, anjayna, we saved you. Anjaynakum. Okay. وَأَغْرَقْنَا آلَ فِرْعَوْنَ وَأَنْتُمْ تَنْظُرُونَ. And أَغْرَقْنَا, غَرْق, to drown. We drowned. آلَ فِرْعَوْنَ, we drowned the Fir'aun, the Pharaoh and the team. While أَنْتُمْ, you were تَنْظُرُونَ, looking. You could see right in front of your eyes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did it. All those favors are Allah reminding. And you could think about what happened after that. All those favors. What did they do though in response to each of those favors that will come? وَإِذْ وَعَدْنَا مُوسَىٰ 40 لَيْلَةً. And remember when وَعَدْنَا, to have an appointed time, make it meeting time. We appointed a meeting. We fixed a meeting with Musa alayhi salam for 40 days. 40 days. 40 night means 40 days. ثم اتخذتم العجل من بعده وأنتم ظالمون. Then اتخذتم, you took al-ijl. Ijl is the calf. You've taken that calf, bajra. Min ba'di, after this, after seeing all this, while you were zalimun, while you were oppressor, transgressor, you've just been completely wrongdoers. Seeing all those signs and miracles right in front of your eyes, sea parting, enemies drowning, you are delivered, you're on the other side. And yet, he said, can we just have a calf as a god? We want a physical god? This is what they did. ثم عفونا عنكم من بعد ذلك لعلكم تشكرون. Then عفونا, we forgave you. عفونا عنكم, we forgive you all. من بعد ذلك, after this, even after this, perhaps لعلكم, perhaps you تشكرون, you show gratitude. You become people of gratitude. Those who do shukr. Did that happen? وَإِذْ آتَيْنَا مُوسَى الْكِتَابَ وَالْفُرْقَانَ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَهْتَدُونَ. And remember, when we gave Musa, Prophet Musa alayhi salam, Moses, Al-Kitab, the book, Wal-Furqana, and the criterion, Furqan, Faruq, similar there, and the criterion, which was a sign Musa alayhi salam had, the stick, the staff that he had, and many others. La'allak, perhaps you, tahtadun, you get guided. Maybe another chance. So Allah kept giving chances after chances, favors after favors. So Allah is reminding them of all those favors. About 12, perhaps continue like this. And then people do not heed. If they don't, then obviously they. Now with that you would know why they were punished. All those favors they rejected through their action. They still challenged Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They even killed the prophets who were going against their understanding. So we need to learn from this that we shouldn't be behaving like that. We shouldn't be seeking after the loopholes here and there, and in a way forsaking our deen for our covetousness, for our dunya, for our materialism. May Allah give us tawfiq. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.